So despite not being the betting favorite to win the World Series, the Yankees continue to be the best team in baseball, as you can see. Taking a look at Matt Snyder's power rankings right now. By the way, you can find this list on CBSSports.com. He says this version of the Yankees is probably the best mid-June team that we have seen in about a decade. By the way, his biggest riser this week, the Red Sox, up 5 spots to number 7 after winning 13 of their last 17. His biggest faller, the Rays down 6 spots to number 15. Don't even see him on the list. They have lost 7 of their past 9. So let's welcome in our MLB experts here. We have our Power Rankings master, Matt Snyder, and MLB insider, longtime former GM Jim Bowden here. Matt, let's start with you and start with the Yankees as your clear number 1. In your article, you said, look, I've been doing these Power Rankings about a decade now, and this Yankees team, you said, may be the best you've ever had in your Power Rankings.
Yeah, I mean, you can look back and you could say 2016 Cubs, 2017 Astros, 2018 Red Sox. Those are 3 of the best teams that we've seen probably in this millennium. And they all went on to win the World Series. They all got out of the gates really fast. The Yankees right now have a better record than any of those 3 teams have. They have a better run differential than 2 of the 3. The Cubs were actually better in that at this point. But if the Yankees win again right now with 17 losses, there will only be one team since the end of World War II who got to 50 wins faster, and that was the 2001 Mariners, who won 116 games. So this is truly one of the best teams that we've ever seen to this point in the season. And in fact, it's funny, like last week we were talking about this is a very big week for the Rays and the Blue Jays because they have head-to-head games against the Yankees. There's a chance to kind of maybe dig a little bit into that lead. Instead, the Yankees went out and won 5 of 6, and they almost put this thing to bed. You got a 12-game lead. It's ridiculous. You just can't say enough about how good they are right now. Not sure what their biggest weakness would be. Maybe bullpen depth with Chad Green having gone down for the season. Aroldis Chapman, not sure what you're going to get as he comes back from injury. But, I mean, like I said, you can't say enough about how good they've been at this point. It's been unbelievable.
Jim, so Matt mentioned the Rays there. Let's talk about that series, 3-game series starting tonight in Tampa. Yankees not looking to slow any momentum there. The Rays, so they are desperate to get some. They have lost 7 of their last 9, including 2 over the weekend to the Orioles. Jim, give us a preview of the series.
Yeah, I'll give you a preview of tonight's game because the series really isn't about a pennant race because, as Matt mentioned, the Yankees are the best team in this league by far. They have the best rotation, the best closer. That's right, I said that in Clay Holmes. They have the best lineup by far. They have the best defensive team in the American League. So this series really isn't about a pennant race, but tonight's game is exciting because you've got a battle of 2 aces. And Shane McClanahan will be on the mound for Tampa Bay. And right now he is the front runner for Cy Young in the American League. How about a 1.84 ERA with 105 strikeouts and 15 walks in only 78 1/3 innings. He is in the 97th percentile in strikeout percentage. And how about this against the secondary pitches? Opponents hitting 141 against his curveball and 143 against his changeup. And on the other side for the New York Yankees, Garrett Cole's on the mound. And how about this stat? Garrett Cole is 5th out of the Yankees starters in ERA. That's right, he has the worst ERA of any of the Yankees starters, and yet he's 6-1 with a 3.3 ERA, 91 punch-outs in 73 innings. But the big difference in this series is the Yankees lineup compared to Tampa Bay. The Yankees have the best lineup in the league, and Tampa Bay ranks 26 out of 30 teams offensively.
Jim, really quickly, talk to me about the Astros here. They're coming in at number 4 in Matt's power rankings. No one in that division really giving them any sort of a challenge right now. They keep increasing their games, their lead there. And Matt pointed out, look, maybe a slight speed bump for Justin Verlander, but that said, the Astros have the 3rd best record in baseball right now.
Yeah, man, they're like the Yankees in the West, right? There's no competition. I mean, they're going to run away with this division. They lead the division in OPS, homers, and ERA. Second in the league, by the way, to the Yankees in ERA at 3.04, and it's the top of the rotation that you look at. Justin Verlander on pace right now to be comeback player of the year. He's 8-3 with a 2.3 ERA. And how about Framber Valdez, one of the top 3 left-handed starters in the league? He's 7-3 with a 2.78 ERA. So that 1-2 punch is amazing. When they have a lead in the 9th, they win. Why? Because Ryan Presley's converted 13 of 15, had an incredible season. And the lineup, it's interesting. Only a few years ago, we were talking about George Springer and Alex Bregman and Altuve leading the team. Well, now they've passed the torch. Now it's Jordan Alvarez, who Dusty Baker the other day compared him to Willie McCovey and Willie Stargell last time I talked to him. How about 18 homers and 47 RBIs? He did hurt his hand yesterday, but they say the hamate bone is fine, which is good news. He's day-to-day. And Kyle Tucker, 13 homers and 42 RBIs. So Astros have been a huge story, but I don't see any competition for them in the AL West. In fact, I don't see another playoff team in the AL West.
Astros coming in at number 4, right behind them. The Padres at number 5, despite being swept by the Rockies over the weekend. So, Matt, let's talk about this because you're even calling them the Dean Carries. I read the entire description. Right. You said this is a name one of your old coaches would give players who couldn't achieve glory. And you even said at the bottom of it, they can't break through. So why still top 5?
Well, yeah, it's because they had a chance to go to like 2 or 3 or even break into the top 4. There's an elite top 4 right now, and they're just the best team that's not in the elite group of the top 4. But they've been right there all year, and you can't say enough about how good they've been throughout the season with Fernando Tatis being injured, and they've had some injuries in the pitching staff, but they have such great rotation depth that they've been able to absorb that. And it's worrisome right now with Manny Machado's ankle injury because he's probably the MVP of the National League right now. He's been so good. He's picked up the slack for Tatis being down. He's having a career year, and that's saying a lot for Machado at this point in his career, for it to be the best year in his career. But I really think it is the best work that he's ever done. That ankle, as you can see, that doesn't look great. The thing about ankle injuries, though, is sometimes they look way worse than they actually are in the long term. Hopefully he's back in a few days because it's been a joy to watch how well he has carried this team. And they're probably not that far away. I know that there was a setback in the recent days with Tatis when they read the MRI, but they're not that far away from getting him back. And the whole task heading into the regular season, after they found out he was down with the broken wrist, was kind of tread water until you get Tatis back, try to hit your stride in August and September, going toward the playoffs, maybe make a run into the playoffs. But they've been so good right now, he's going to be a huge extra boost.
I don't think Chris is listening, so afterward I'm going to call him Dean, and he's not going to know what that means. Let's talk about the Guardians here. Up 2 spots to number 11 after they won their series against the Dodgers in L.A. They won 2 of 3. Matt, they're just 1 game behind the Twins right now. What do we need to know about this Guardians team?
Well, they're really hitting their stride right now, and it's so funny that a few weeks ago we talked about Tony La Russa, and he had the gaffe, and then he kind of dug his heels in and got mad at people for even asking him a question. And it was funny at the time. I kind of said my example of what is a great manager today is he stays out of the way. And I said, do we ever talk about a bad move that Terry Francona made? And I racked my brain, and I went through so many playoff series and everything, going all the way back to 2004. And I couldn't remember one time that we actually questioned anything Terry Francona did. And it's, once again, maybe his finest hour right now. It's a ragtag kind of group, patchwork, other than Jose Ramirez, who is probably second in the AL right now in MVP race after Aaron Judge, who's having an otherworldly season. But Jose Ramirez has been unbelievable. The pitching staff's hitting its stride. Last week at this time, I was looking at their schedule, and I thought, they're kind of hot right now, but they're beating up on weak teams. Let's see how they do when they go to Colorado, which is a tough place to play. And we just talked about the Padres. They just illustrated how tough it is to play there. They go into Colorado and they sweep the Rockies. Well, now you've got 2 out of 3 at the Dodgers. They took 2 out of 3. They had a 3-game series at the Dodgers. They took 2 out of 3. Now they're going to Minnesota. They're only a game behind the Twins. Big opportunity right now. The Guardians could be in first place here in a few days.
Let's go from the AL Central to the NL Central. Cardinals and Brewers all tied up at the top there, kicking off a crucial 4-game series in Milwaukee. Jim, give us a preview of this one.
Yeah, this is going to be a really big series, but there's a big difference between the Milwaukee-St. Louis series now than what we would have seen at the beginning of the year, because at the beginning of the year, Milwaukee were the favorites to win the division. Why? They had 3 #1 starters, led by Corbin Burns, but then followed by Brandon Woodruff and Freddie Peralta. Well, now when they get ready to play the Cardinals this week, there is no Brandon Woodruff. He's had the high ankle sprain. He's also not having feelings in his middle fingers, which have been a problem. Freddie Peralta has hurt his shoulder. He's out till August, maybe even beyond that. So it's not the same Milwaukee team. On the other side, for the Cardinals, it's a much different team than we saw in spring training as well. Why? They have 3 rookie hitters that have really balanced this lineup up. Brendan Donovan's a guy that's been getting on base. He can play all over the field, second, short, outfield. Nolan Gorman has added left-handed power. Yepez has added depth in the outfield. They just lost Tyler O'Neill over the weekend with a hamstring injury. But this Cardinals lineup is deeper and stronger. And Jack Flaherty's off the injured list. He's going to actually pitch in this series. So I feel like everything has now changed. The Cardinals are now the favorites to win the division. Milwaukee's going to have to try to win a different way.
Before we let you go, Pirates coming in at number 26 in Matt's power rankings. Jim, they're calling up their top prospect in O'Neill Cruz, shortstop, 6'7". What do we need to know about him?
Yeah, we don't see a lot of 6'7" shortstops. I talked to Ben Cherington, their general manager, yesterday. Asked him if he was going to play left field shortstop. He said, nope, he's going to play shortstop. So looking forward to seeing him. The one thing I will tell you, this guy's got tremendous power. He's got 9 home runs already in the minor leagues. He's got speed, already stole 11 bases down there. But he's got a lot of holes in his swing. It's awful difficult at 6'7" to cover the strike zone. So he was only hitting .230 in the minor leagues. It'll be interesting to see how Major League pitching pitches to him. If they can expose the holes early, he might struggle early. But one thing's for sure, when he gets a hold of them, the ball goes 450 feet. And when he gets on base, he can steal a bag at will.
Hey, Jim, really quickly, talk about the youth on this team, because they had a rookie who did some pretty great stuff yesterday.
Yeah, they sure did. You're talking about Jack Serwinski, who ended up with 3 home runs, including a walk-off. This guy has been on fire, 11 home runs this year for him. That ties Brian Reynolds for the most on the Pittsburgh Pirates team. This guy's got a great left-handed swing, and if you pitch the ball out over the plate and elevate it, he will crush it. He's not your normal left-hand hitter who likes it down and in. He likes it out over the plate and elevated. Well, he got 3 pitches yesterday that were elevated. But this Pirates team is fun. They've got a lot of energy, enthusiasm, and they've gone from the cellar in last place to legitimately a third-place team. I think they're better than both the Cubs and the Cincinnati Reds.
We'll see if they can make some jumps in that power rankings. A lot of reason to be optimistic there. Jim, Matt, thank you so much for joining us here on HQ. By the way, Matt's full power rankings, read more about his high school football coach. Very interesting there at CBSSports.com. The notable games you got coming up tonight at the very top. An important one, Yankees at Rays. Rays have now dropped 7 of their last 9. We'll see how they do against the best team in baseball. Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.